News, Abuja.
The Permanent Secretary in the Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment, Kachollom Daju, says the government is committed to addressing the demands of striking resident doctors. But she says government will not be stampeded into taking hasty decisions by the National Association of Resident Doctors. Again, TVC News' Joke Adisa reports.
Resident doctors in Nigeria are warming up for protests across the states to force government's action on their demands.
I want to reiterate this government's commitment to peaceful resolutions of all outstanding issues.
This has prompted the federal government to intimate the public on its many efforts to stave off the protests. The Labour and Employment Ministry accuses the striking doctors of remaining adamant despite government's plea for their understanding.
The National Association of Resident Doctors have been resolute on their not letting down on what their needs are. They are insistent that federal government must listen to them now. And we say we are government.
Kachollom Daju says meeting the doctors' demands require time and strict adherence to rules and regulations.
We're not talking about something that can be done immediately. You're talking about one-on-one placement. You, the journalists, if you hear that CMDs are employing people, you're definitely going to question it. Where did you get the waiver from? Why are you employing people? You're not going to wait for federal government to tell you, oh, actually there's a one-on-one exit plan which has been approved, a policy. It is the policy that we're working on. And you know that policies take time.
She insists the no work, no pay policy subsists as long as doctors stay off work.
I don't know what the international best practices are on no work, no pay. And I cannot sit here and tell you that it's going to be withdrawn. But I assure you that government is working assiduously to ensure that what needs to be done, all commitments made, and approved, so to say, that we carry them out.
Negotiations between government and the striking doctors had broken down, and the intervention of the House of Representatives also failed to achieve a truce. The resident doctors have now resorted to nationwide protests from Wednesday. Joke Adisa, TVC News, Abuja.
The Nigerian Senate has promised to work closely with all labor unions to put together solution-driven ideas that will help the federal government implement palliative measures that will cushion the impact of the subsidy removal. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, disclosed this when the Senate leadership met with labor union leaders at the National Assembly on Tuesday. National Assembly correspondent TJ Suwadewi reports.
Just joining us.
The Senate's leadership meets with organized labor to resolve issues that have trailed the fuel subsidy removal. This was after an initial agreement reached when labor unions brought their protest to the doorstep of the National Assembly, demanding quick intervention from the federal government to cushion the impact of fuel subsidy removal. This follow-up meeting is to further drive home their demands and proffer possible solutions to the economic crisis at hand. They say the harsh impact already felt by Nigerians across the country could be ameliorated if the federal government successfully implements palliative measures that are far-reaching and sustainable.
Even after that protest up to now, the meeting has not been convened. Although Mr. President promised that he is going to restructure a mechanism for which we are engaging with government so that things could, be treated fast. So we suggest that, or we still plead, that you put your heads together with Mr. President so that we can have a committee that is meeting. Well, this is like an emergency. People are still threatened, people are suffering, and we are seen as doing a meeting forever. That is not good, that we don't have mandate.
At times, some things are very necessary. We understand, distinguished senators, some things are necessary for us to do. But the timing of some of the decisions we also make infuriates the people. And when the people put pressure on the leadership, it will be difficult for us to fold our arms and not to act.
The President of the Senate commends the union leaders for their understanding and willingness to work with the government to set the country on the path to progress. Senator Akpabio appeals to them and asks for patience as they continue to engage, dialogue, and find better ways to support the federal government in easing the sufferings of Nigerians across the country.
The Senate will partner with you to put these ideas together. The Senate will be very glad to approach the executive arm of government in partnership with you to see how we can work together to reduce the sufferings of Nigerians.
All Nigerians hope for is an improved well-being and to also feel the impact of palliative measures rolled out by the government to reduce the hardship caused by the removal of fuel subsidy. Hopefully, the threats of industrial action and protest will go away if these demands are met. Tijesu Adeoye, TVC News, Abuja.
The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, has assured that the Nigerian Air Force will intensify its efforts to combat criminal activities nationwide. He also pledged his unwavering support to frontline troops during visits to various command centers in Kaduna State. Our correspondent Lupe Asom tells us more.
The Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, is on a tour to critical military installations. This includes the Air Training Command, the Headquarters Joint Task Force, and the air component of Operation Wild Punch. He aims to engage with senior Air Force officers and to inspire troops on the front lines, sending a resounding message of solidarity and support.
You also agree with me that we have achieved remarkable success in terms of air operations in all these theaters. So I came to talk with the troops, encourage them, and assure them of our support in order for them to continue to do the good job that they have been doing.
On the 5th of August, the Nigerian Air Force airstrikes destroyed at least 3 boats allegedly loaded with stolen crude oil in Rivers State. On the 6th of August, the Special Forces of the Nigerian Air Force rescued at least 7 kidnapped victims in Kaduna State. The Air Chief is pleased with the remarkable success being achieved across various theaters. He declares that the Air Force will persistently escalate their offensive against criminal elements, regardless of their locations.
If you notice also in recent times, and not only in the South, we have been hitting a lot of vessels of the oil bunkers as well as illegal refineries. We have also been hitting a lot of the terrorists and bandits in the northwest and the north central regions. You have realized that a lot of them are now pledging to drop their arms and are seeking to come to the negotiation table. I want to assure all Nigerians that we will continue to intensify air operations against all these criminal elements in whatever regions they are, in whatever criminal activities they are undertaking, until we bring all of them to their knees.
This determination is a testament to their pledge to safeguard the nation's